Welcome once again to the charm of Williams Roadshow. Thank you for joining me, your host, Charlotte Larkin, as we continue our journey of conversations with the multifaceted artist Tommy Hoe. In this exclusive interview, we'll continue to learn more about this man of many hats. Let's talk more about your latest CD, in a behind-the-scenes sort of manner. A tell-all, if you will.
The guy that produced that, Brian Coors, I think you met Brian, maybe you haven't, but he was a student at Colgate, and I was working up there in contract mail service up there. And he came in and was working, he's from Pennsylvania, Media, Pennsylvania actually, neat little town, and outside of Philly. Well, we got to talking and he played guitar. He said, well, at the time I was staying in the cabin up there where I live, on the property up there. You've been to the cabin. And it just had the wood stove and everything in it. I hadn't completely remodeled it, but Brian had come up and we'd sit around. He was writing and I helped him out with writing some stuff, telling him, extend this a little bit and that, give him some pointers. And I got him his first show ever, playing music and paying gig. And so we stayed friends. We've been friends now for 20 years, at least. And he's married now and got kids. Hey, him and I he wanted to see Montana, and we went out to Montana, and I took all back roads up and through Colorado and in Wyoming and all, took him up to Montana. And we played music all along the way in bars and stuff, old country bars. So he has heard a lot of the stuff I've written, but he took a look at, he chose the songs for that. He's the one that chose the songs out of my library songs, except for the one was a Harlan Allen tune, one for my baby, one for the road. But he put it together, and we went to this like a house upstairs, the studio. And it was the nicest studio I've ever been in, really. I mean, as far as for music, and it was comfortable, live mics, no problem. Everybody was laid back, refrigerator with beer and wine, and everything was just nice. And we did that in 2 sessions that were only about 3 hours a session, I think. One afternoon, one evening. And that was it. I only did 2 takes on one of them. The other one, I'm a firm believer that if you're gonna do something, everybody's got their act together. 99.9% of the time, the first take you do is the best. You start trying to keep doing it and keep doing it, you start losing it. And I was amazed at myself at how it came out, because it was, the sound was good, the mix was good, everything was done well. And actually, the guy that did that, now he's recording Broadway shows and all kinds of things like that. He's a young guy, but he's a great sound engineer. Yeah, for that, actually, Brian was playing on it, and he rounded up the other musicians that I'd never worked with before. But they knew exactly what I wanted, and did well. The one guy, the keyboard player, what happened was, this was the week before Christmas. But anyway, it was the year, then after January, they told everybody that COVID was here. That's when everything shut down. It was just before that. Well, everybody there got COVID. It played. It was already in Philly. And we all ended up with COVID. We didn't know what it was. Then we found out afterwards, yeah. That's what we all had. The piano player ended up in the hospital. I ended up in the arms of some gal dressed like a reindeer.
So tell us what's next for you. What are you working on, and do you have any future plans in mind?
Nothing, as far as a big project or anything. What I am doing is looking at doing some summer open mic gigs at a newer place in town. I want to start that again get musicians a place to go and play. And I am working on some songs. I've come up with a jillion hooks over the years, and I just kind of going through and trying to figure out which way I'm going to go with it. But I got the cabin that I utilize now just as a music place, and I get the guys up every now and then, and we get in there and jam. But yeah, I do want to put something back together. I may have a different kind of group together. Change is sometimes good,
When you look back upon your life, what would you say that you're most proud of in terms of accomplishments?
I never really intended to lay down roots anywhere in my life, and I did here in this part of New York. And I think it's a great area. I really do. A lot of people say, why aren't all my family and everybody's out in Montana? But I don't have any desire to go back out there and live. I'm happy here. I made great friends here. Got to know a lot of good people, a lot of good musicians, and so I never thought I'd lay the roots down, and I did. And I ended up. Actually, my family, brothers and sisters, everybody thought I was just going to be a vagabond all my life because I've been in New Zealand, Honduras, all over the place doing stuff. But anyway. I'm proud of the fact that I put a place together and built a house up there and done that. And I've had, a lot of women in my life. As far as I tell people say, how many times you've been married? I say, so many times I got permanent rice marks on my face, Anyway, but I never intentionally ever hurt anybody. Never intentionally, try to hurt anybody or do anybody any wrong or harm. And I don't try to judge people.
On the personal side of things, tell us more about your relationships with the people and connections you have that shape the person you are now. Those bonds often serve as a catalyst and ultimately provide a crucial role in our lives. Let's take a moment to talk about your family, shall we?
Yeah, of course, my wife, her and I don't have any children together. She was divorced when I met her. After my Nashville trip, I gave a musician a ride down to Florida. Broke down in front of a church, and she offered to help me. And Jesus Christ, I was that close to a clean getaway. But anyway, we're still together. That was 30 years ago, I guess. The odd thing about it is who she was going with. I didn't know him then. I got to meet him. His name was Earl. And his son-in-law was Travis Tritt. She knows Teresa, Travis Tritt's wife, really well and everything. And Teresa's younger brother. But I got to know Earl. He was a real nice guy. We shared several beers together down there. He passed away, but so she would stay with him. She was going to live with him. Yeah, she does photography. And she used to make a lot of calendars. She doesn't as much anymore. She does for family and friends, but and then I have, well, my ex-wife, she's in Montana, and I have a daughter. My oldest daughter's in Hawaii, and her husband have a ranch in Montana also, place there. But she graduated from Dartmouth, and she decided to go into the teaching profession. It somehow worked out for her in Hawaii, and then the guy she met over there, he also was from the same high school she went to. He's a year younger, and he's the chief scientist for NOAA that cleans up the plastic in the Midway Islands. He's the one that did that 60 Minutes special. That's my son-in-law. And then my other daughter, Andrea, she's younger than Christine, about 4 years. She's in Montana. I have a son, and he's in Fort Collins, Colorado. He's a musician. He promotes bands and does music. And he's also got his doctorate degree in pharmacy. He does websites and stuff for pharmaceutical companies and things like that.
I'm told that you have travelled quite extensively in your life. Would you care to share something of the places that you visited?
Done a lot of heavy construction work in my life, and I was working on the federal prison there in Florence, Colorado. But I'd run into a bunch of guys from Aspen, and they were going to Honduras, to the Bay Islands, to a place called Roytan. And they were looking to put an eco resort in, and I threw in with them and went down there. I ended up down there for 5 months. They left. It was 2 third world for them, but I stayed down there playing my guitar and drinking rum, Coca-Cola, you know, and having a good time. But on this island, and then I came back from there and went back to Florence, Colorado for a while. A friend of mine had a hotel there. He's a musician, Ronnie and Chidi. And then I left and went to Tucson. I sold my truck to a Mexican in Tucson and took the money and bought a ticket to New Zealand. I always wanted to go to New Zealand, so I just took my backpack, went to New Zealand, didn't know anybody, traveled around with my backpack for 3 months, met some wonderful people, beautiful women over there. The only place that's got women that compare to that is Texas. Texas has got some beautiful women too, but New Zealand was unreal. And then came back, and last out of the country place I was Puerto Rico. I did a big job down there, making good money, and then I decided I was tired of traveling and I set down roots here. That's what happened.
I'm going to ask Tommy Hoe to take us out with a believe it or not type of fun factoid. How many songs would you say you have written?
Ones that count, probably 800.
You're like an evening star that captures the heart of romantics. That's what you are. Glittering light in the eye of a dream that can take me.
Studio services provided by Vecteezy.com. Your clicks can make a difference. Stick around to find out how you can easily contribute before you go. It's all about spreading positivity and making an impact. I'm Charlotte Larkin, and you've been watching Williams Roadshow. Until next time, we'll give you someone to talk about.